Hello everyone, and welcome to Technology in the Classroom. My name is Dean Mance. I'll be the facilitator for this online course. To give you a little background on myself, I am also teaching the Technology in the Classroom face-to-face version here on campus at Sterling College. I'll be going into my 5th year this fall for teaching it. It was last December when Dr. Ritterhouse started talking to me a little bit, and eventually this spring we finally decided and things were worked out to where I would be able to teach the online version of this. The reason for that is like what you got an email on regarding no technology textbook needed for this class. The biggest reason is for technology in the classroom, there's not a single book, single person out there that has all the answers. And that's going to be, the way we handle this class is I'll be showing you multiple resources, multiple blogs, different media or styles of communication that you could use in your classroom to get those answers, ideas, and the support you need, whether it's your first year teaching, 20th year teaching, and so on. So we're going to go ahead and get started here in a moment, but I just want you to understand that the main theme or philosophy vision, you could say, I have for this class is to provide you a category or a theme, let's say, for each of the weeks. And this class, as you noticed that by looking through here, right now all you're going to see is the general information, course information in week 1. And you ask, why is it only week 1 where all my other classes I probably see every week? Well, again, take the example of not having the textbook. For technology in the classroom, I'm a strong believer in shaping this class based off the enrollment I have. Now, granted, there's 7 of you in class. I usually have 20 to 23 in class. Of those 20 to 23 in class, there may be times where half, over half, maybe 2/3 of them are PE health majors, which means the other third of the class are not. So, do I design a technology in the classroom class that is just a general structured thing like a textbook to where you, the student, must modify to my curriculum, or do we differentiate the instruction and, even though we meet our standards, adjust to the students we have in class? Something to think about once you're out there. But that's the way it is behind this. And when we get into talking about the actual week 1 lessons, I'll talk about the introduction project where you're going to introduce who am I? And with that, who am I would like you to tell us a story about who you are. Maybe some of your childhood experiences, your own educational experiences, and what you're going to teach in the future. Or where you would like to be in 5 years. Just some stuff there to give us an understanding of who you are, since we do not get to see each other face to face. The only collaboration we're going to have is through the interaction on our blog posts with KidBlog, which is a educationally designed, it's a private secured blogging site to where the only way your information, or I shouldn't say information, but your blog, your writings, the expression of your thought, your beliefs are out there. The only way we can get comments from somebody outside of our class is by myself sharing that link or yourself sharing that link with others. Now, I will tell you right now, that's going to be one thing that I do, is because, again, like I mentioned before, I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. Dr. Ritterhouse and the rest of the education department do not have the answers. But someone out there does. They have part of the answer. And we'll just take it, combine it, learn together, and develop that answer. And that's going to be one of the themes that we talk about, and that'll be week 2, is the use of social media and collaboration in education. Some people laugh at the use of Facebook, but stop and think about what you've seen probably in other classes, what you've seen in publications about the use of Facebook and Twitter. And we'll talk about the safe side of those and digital citizenship and your internet safety and digital footprint. And in some ways, you're going to start working on your digital footprint. For example, to explain a digital footprint with your introductions, you're going to start one. Go out to Google, put your name in quotes. For example, like I encouraged you here on the course instructor link, I encouraged you and everyone else, go out and Google me. Go Dean Mance, put it in quotes, see what you find about me, because this just kind of gives you an understanding. You know, here's my portfolio, but as I say, check out my digital footprint. And basically, to give you an idea of digital footprint, what we're saying here is plain and simple. Anything that has your name, your picture, it's out there on the web, that's the beginning of your digital footprint. And I'll be honest with you, there are superintendents and high school or school administrators out there. There's employees, human resource departments, banks even. I've even talked to some people where the colleges are Googling the students wanting to come there just to kind of see what type of person they are and what stuff's out there. Let me give you an example of a situation. About 2-3 years ago, I learned of a student that had graduated from Bethany College there in Lindsborg, got a teaching job in Nebraska. Things were going well. Kids were getting to know him. Classes were enjoyable. And then the students started Googling him. They found stuff on him from his days in college, from his life outside, his extracurricular activities. And then some of the parents got a hold of some of that stuff as well from the kids that were Googling him. And eventually, his teaching career was done at the end of first semester. So those will be some things that we'll really focus on next week. It's your digital footprint, digital citizenship, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. You know, what pictures do you already have out there that you might want to think about? But as I said, that's next week. We'll go ahead and get into this week. In looking through our online class here, you will notice the announcements are up here, and you probably have seen that from other online classes as well as upcoming events. But I always like to be one that has the upcoming events here as a reminder when you log in. Here's the due dates. Because as you know from your other classes, you look through here and not everything's there. And as I explained earlier, the rest of the weeks aren't there because I'm still don't know, you know, I'm familiar with who you guys are as well as what classes you want to teach once you become an educator. Elementary, secondary, are you going to be a vocational person? Are you going to be a core state assessed type class? Are you a performing arts, liberal arts type teacher? And it's those things that'll help me kind of design the rest of the stuff that we'll do. And then that'll lay out weeks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 7 being kind of the culminating last week of work. Now, to get you going through here, as we said, here's the course instructor. This link right here says blog discussion and rubrics. Well, when you click on it, it's going to automatically download the rubrics for you. These are the exact same rubrics I use for my face-to-face class. And these rubrics are a composition compiled of resources from sites like Ruby Star for Teachers, where you can go out and create your own rubrics. It's also a accumulation of pieces of rubrics from other teachers all compiled into one. And I mean, that's education. You get an idea from this teacher, a resource from that teacher, and you kind of twist it, mold it, modify it to your liking and to what is successful for you. Teaching Innovation Wikis. This link right here will take you to the class. This is a wiki. If everybody's familiar with Wikipedia, that's a wiki. Basically what a wiki is a way of creating a collaborative, multiple editor type website. Instead of a single person doing all the editing, you could have a whole collaboration group of people putting it up there. And what you'll see here, class calendar, course syllabus, so on and so forth. But there'll be sometimes I'll refer to this, but please feel free to explore the site and kind of see what we do in the face-to-face class. I mean, after all, in the face-to-face class, we're able to get on the smartboard. We're able to have people Skype into class from Korea, Vietnam, Australia, Canada. We've spoke with a high school student in Virginia about his experiences and what he likes to see from his teachers. We've talked with other students. We've talked with teachers in Nebraska that are special ed teachers. But every one of these, all of us have something in common. And it's not just our social networking, our personal learning communities or professional learning networks, as you may hear, a PLC, a PLN, but it's all we have one thing in common, and it's our focus and drive to be lifelong learners and to meet the needs of our students and provide them the best opportunities in what they need to learn and the best styles and tools that are out there to truly engage them and get them thinking. The 4 C's of 21st century skills is going to be critical thinking, Bloom's taxonomy for example, collaboration, communication. Now collaboration and communication sound the same, but what we're talking about with collaboration is you socializing with your classmates, myself, and those out there that you just know virtually. I'm sure that out of the 7 of you on there, the majority of you have Facebook, and there's some of your friends out there that you don't get to see face to face anymore. It's either on the phone or through Facebook, IM, little things like that. So it's the same concept, but we're going to talk about how to be successful with it in education. So those are just some things that I want you to look at. Another thing is within this is this TNC media page is a page that I use to put tutorial videos on, resource binders. You guys will get a taste, a little bit of the 3-ring binder, and you think, 3-ring binder, what is that? Well, think of your virtual 3-ring binder, kind of like what I have in front of me here. Here we've got all these pages, I got pictures, I got little notes, all kinds of stuff. Well, these binders, as you see here on this bookshelf, allow you to store that digitally. So it's all there for you. What you can see here as recorded video streaming of my face-to-face classes. Here are audio casts where I'll use like a digital recorder to record our class lections or class discussions, and it's all audio files. And then through here, throughout the rest of here are little tutorial videos that you'd be able to watch. Now these two, the kid blog overview and the hyperlinks of how to put a hyperlink or embed something into kid blog, which you will be doing as part of your introduction when you use either search stories or you use a Voki, and we'll kind of touch on those both here in a little bit. But all of those links for those 2 videos are right here for you. You're going to see the kid blog overview is right here. That'll take you to the website for that exact video. And this how to embed into kid blog. This is done by a great friend of mine, Wesley Fryer. Creating this, or at the speed of creativity is his website and blog and resources. He's internationally renowned for being a motivational speaker in the education and 21st century skills. The Voki, teaching Voki skills, this is a great resource site, and here's a tutorial video on how to do the search stories that you would have the option. And again, here's what we're talking about is student-centered versus teacher-centered. Even though I have my objectives and I have a mindset or I can vision an end product, I still give my students the choice of how to create something but yet still get the end product that I want to see, but allow you, the student, to create the choose the tool, choose the process, have input in on the content, which makes it more student-centered than teacher-centered, because if students do not have say in at least 2 of the 3 areas of content, process, or product, if you don't have a voice in 2 or if not all 3, then it's not student-centered, it's teacher-centered. If I'm the one that dictates all of it, then it's all teacher-centered, and that's not the way 21st century skills and education is moving, or been moving since it's 2011 now. So let's go ahead and kind of go over some of this stuff here. Let's start with the kid blog. For example, introductions. Well, all of you have received in the announcements an email that talks about how to log in. And again, back here on our page, the kid blog website, which is right here underneath course information, you're going to see the link. That's going to open a new window. So all my links that take you to different websites will always open in a new window or a pop-up to a tab. And that's just so you don't lose your spot in the curriculum, but also can keep this here. So if you have Voki open in one window or on a tab, you could watch it over here, pause, do a few steps, play a little more, and keep going on like that. But that's some stuff that you'll kind of start to get the feel for as this class goes. So let's kind of go back and visit TNC's blog site. As you see here, here is your names. These are the link. You would click on your name or your classmate's name to go to their blogs and kind of be able to read their stuff. And that's how you could read through their stuff, leave them comments. So when we start talking about like the discussion credits or blog rubrics, if I put something in there about, you know, comments that you've left for your classmates on blogs, I can go through there, see what you said. But here's what's nice is I have to approve those. So if I do share your blog post out there with somebody, and some of my friends that I trust put something in the comments that I may feel a little questionable about, I do not have to approve it. You don't have to worry about seeing it, and there's no feelings hurt. So that's, again, what's really nice about this. Now, yes, you can do that with other websites, but this is, again, the education side, so you could have those teachable moments and talk about digital citizenship. Is this appropriate to say? Was this very critical? How can I word this and not be so critical sounding, but yet ask them a question or say, you know, maybe here's an area for improvement. But again, it gets you thinking critically on how do we do this? How do I express my thoughts? But to log in, what you'll do is click on log in and then find your name from the drop-down window. And then from there, the password is going to be educators with an E. And then that way you would be able to get in there and do that. So that's just a quick little introduction on that. And again, the video that will walk you through how to do everything in there is going to be right back up here under week 1 where it says Kid Blog Overview. So I encourage you to watch that. Now, I know I have deadlines for this stuff periodically as the week goes, but the biggest thing is if you have everything done by 11:59 next Sunday night, which to me is the end of week 1, you'll be fine. This is week 1, and you're all trying to learn this stuff. This isn't just a simple read a textbook, read these pages, answer these questions, and then respond to your classmates' questions. To me, that's not a true technology in the classroom, because what experience do you get with these different tools if it's all textbooks based? My personal opinion, though. Alright, so the next option, that was in your reading assignment, and you'll respond to those questions in your reading assignment. For example, here's Children and Technology. You can see how that's downloading in a PDF form. So in your week 1 discussion, and that's going to be your reading, where you're going to kind of read through this and respond to some stuff, and we'll get that to here in a moment. So week 1 discussion is Children and Computer Technology. That's what we just saw. What you're going to see here is kind of the requirements and points for this and response stuff. This is where you're going to put all of this up on the TNC page, the wiki, or excuse me, the blog site as a blog, and then just leave comments on your classmates' blog to get your credit. And to be honest with you, if you do it, I'm going to be extremely lenient through this very first week, just like I am with my face-to-face stuff, is because I want to be able to read your blog and kind of hear your voice as I read it and get a good picture of what you're thinking in this review. And if I don't get it, then I'll kind of, in the private comments, when I leave my response, my scores, and my comments, mine are always private because that's a grade. The grade is between you and me, no one else. So you don't need to worry about grades showing up on your blog post there. Now, there will be times I may leave comments on there publicly, but typically those are always going to be very positive comments, where the true evaluation, as I said a moment ago, those are private. So understand that, please. So that will be your read and discussion, read and respond stuff. And then back here on your next thing is going to be the reading assignment. Well, that was that file that we just had that popped up a moment ago. That's going to be part of your reading assignment. But here's the remarkable transformation. When you click on this link, it's going to open this video. And here's your questions to think about. Now, when you're responding in a blog, please write it in more like a story where you've got your introduction, catch my attention, have your supporting points in the body, and then have a conclusion. If you just say, what are examples of technology integration are in the video with a question mark, and then you just list them out, that's not in a story. That's not in there. I want to hear it in your voice. I don't want to just read it listed. So please understand those differences there. And in any time you get confused, please email me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Anytime I'm near a Wi-Fi, of course I'm always on Wi-Fi at home or at work, but if I'm on the road and I'm on Wi-Fi, I'll be able to get my email because I have it delivered to my iPod Touch that way. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get a smartphone and be more 21st century style. Who knows? Be more like the kids that way, huh? But the point I want to make, though, is when you're writing, take your time, write it out, save it in draft mode, think about it for a little bit, go back and revisit it. That's the way I am with my blog posts. So those are some things to kind of keep in mind. So basically what you're going to do this week is going to do the introductions where you talk about yourself using the Voki or a search story. So let's take a look at Voki.com. Okay, here's Voki.com. It automatically logged myself in. What you're going to do, and I'm going to log myself out so we can walk you through this right quick. The first thing that you need to do is click on Register. You're going to have this register window appear. And within this register window, one thing that you really want to make sure you get done is change that to Educator. And then you'll notice it'll ask what you want to choose. Well, if you're going to be a preschool kindergarten teacher in the future, choose that. Elementary, choose that, so on and so forth. Okay? This way, your account is created on the education side of Voki because there's a public general use type of side of Voki. Just like there is for Glockster and VoiceThread, and I know those are all sites that I'm throwing out at you that we'll eventually get to in the next few weeks. But the biggest thing is more and more of these Web 2.0 services that are hosted in equipment, what we call out in the cloud, in other words, somewhere else, not in your school. These are knowing that schools are financially tight, but yet integrating technology, and this is their way into the door. But basically, let me show you what a Voki is. I'm going to log in as myself. Now it's going to take you to your screen. This is where you'll go to create. And when you're creating, it's going to kind of walk you through it. Now, one thing I will point out while this is coming up, and then I'll go back and show you my Voki. Here's a default one. You could go through and customize your character. Now, here's the different ways to do a voice. You can call it in on the phone. You could type everything in. So it would give you a text box and you could type in all your stuff here. Or when you're talking about and answering that question of who am I, you're going to see where it says allow, and what it's going to want to do is use your microphone. So if your computer does not have a microphone, all right, just type it in, what you're wanting to say, if you choose to have a Voki. That is your choice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump back to my Voki, and I'm going to give you one of them that I use. And let me hit play here for you.
Hello and welcome to Mance's mission. This is the BLOG4 Dean Mance. I will be posting helpful previews, Web 2.0 tools and personal views of trends in education.
Now what there is, obviously you could tell a difference in the voices here, but that was where I just typed it in and chose the voice I wanted. You can record yourself. Just to kind of point this out is, here's my daughter, she'll be turning 12, and here's my son who just turned 7. So you'll notice I'm not using their actual pictures, as here this isn't actually me. Close, but not quite, as you could tell. But these are called avatars, kind of like the movie Avatar, and this is their comical way of portraying yourself. And in that way, especially for COPA, SEPA, FERPA, all these type of federal regulations that talk about children under certain ages, for example, 13 and under, not giving out personal information. These are one ways teachers remain legal and let the kids be creative and create an identity for them. It doesn't even have to look like them. It's like when we said create, use the create link, that was completely out there. You know, and a lot of kids do that. They have fun, but they're having to think and troubleshoot and figure out the program. So again, you're getting them those skills, but you're letting them enjoy it, and they don't know they're learning those skills. So that's a quick overview of a Voki. Let's go to YouTube search stories and kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about here. And as you see here on this, they're doing a little more than what you'll actually be able to do in your own search story. But it gives you an idea if you're going to be able to put some searches in there that gives us an idea of who you are. Which brings me to my next thing is what I want you to understand or give you some examples. We have a YouTube channel for technology in the classroom, and it's youtube.com TnC356. And when you click on uploads here, you're going to be able to look through, and there's some tutorial videos that I've put up here on our YouTube channel, but just about everything else that doesn't go and say D Mance on it, you're going to find are created by previous students in my face-to-face class. So for example, I could go right in here and play at the 35-second one. See, there you go. A 35-second video. Just, it creates it, it walks you through, and that explains who am I, or it gives us a beginning of knowing who you are. And again, you go, how do I do that? Well, remember we said back here are some videos right here, Google Search Stories tutorial, and it'll walk you through it. So just take a look at that. Now, before I go, there is just one little video I want to show you to, again, touch on week 1 when we're talking about technology and integration into the classroom. And this is a group of students in California that are explaining to you, us, the educator, why they feel technology is needed in education.
Technology is just so convenient, regardless of what medium you're using it for, like music production, film production, sound production, writing. I mean, even writing. Writing and reading have been taken over by technology.
I've actually used computers since before I could read. Some of my earliest memories are having amazing amounts of fun with Microsoft Bob.
As far as a laptop goes, it's a bare necessity. I can't live without a laptop.
My phone is like almost like my third hand. I keep it with me everywhere. It's like, even when I don't bring a purse, my phone is the only thing I bring.
I've had a Nintendo 64, a Sega Dreamcast, a Game Boy, of course, a PSP, a GameCube, and most recently an Xbox 360.
Music takes part in every single day of my life. If it was like glued to me, I wouldn't mind at all.
I make anything that would have been ordinary extraordinary with my MacBook.
I go to school, I go to math. I make sure to Twitter along the way because Twittering is something I find very important to me. MC Hammer actually has a Twitter, and so I follow him on Twitter.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I am probably 9.5 of a texter. I do it all the time, absolutely all the time, more so than talking.
I do not like it when people use OMG, LOL, BRB. I hate it. My least favorite is when they say you, like the letter U instead of YOU, because, I mean, I'm a person, I'm not a computer.
And if I didn't have computers, I would say a lot of my hobbies that take up most of my time I wouldn't have. Because I've been Japanese, and I did a lot of that through the internet.
I'm kind of new to music making. I just started some months ago, so it's kind of a challenge for me so far. The process I go through is really just trial and error.
With my MySpace, I can set it to like the colors that I want it to, the music that I want. Yeah, it's an extension of being who I am as a person.
I would say that I'm one of those types of people who like to make websites. Well, this is one of the websites I created. It's called iMe. You can like upload your own photos. Like, I'm really a big fan of Strawberry Shortcake and Alvin and the Chipmunks. They're just like really cute to me, and I just like their personality and characters.
I'd say being able to experiment with technology is really what makes it technology. If people didn't sit there and experiment with test tubes back in days of Newton, nothing would have happened. It's paving the way for us to move forward as a species and a civilization.
What we do in gaming, coordination and communication is very, very similar to what we do at school. So in the game, we have to talk to each other. We have to coordinate what we're going to do in order to make sure that we do it well. The exact same thing at school. We have to talk with each group member. We have to coordinate what we're going to do, what we plan, what our activities are in order to make sure that we get things done right and get things done on time.
My phone, since it takes good pictures, like I can use it for projects all the time. I take pictures of my poster boards and then I can send them to my email and then I can just upload them online and then put on my website or anything of that sort so other people can see.
Like in life, if you're playing a soccer game and you miss the shot, you can't go back to that. While you're working in the computer, designing a site or doing your homework, you could just delete and do it again, restart it.
And so, like, that's the cool thing about technology. It's just like you can change things whenever you want.
When you have access to everything, you sort of learn how to know yourself better because you are forced to decide what to use and what to not use.
I'd say technology does make you a better learner. I mean, when you're working with technology, you have to sit and figure out, okay, this is what I had to work with, these are my resources, and this is what I need for a final product. How can I make this work? And it teaches people to think in a different way.
So in closing, I'd like to say welcome to Technology in the Classroom. Please email me with any questions that you have and I'll do my best to get back with you, whether it's just a response to the email, put an announcement out there for everybody to see, or even create a little screencast tutorial to walk you through something that you weren't quite sure that you may have missed. But please, don't be afraid to ask, for I've failed myself. This is actually the third attempt at this today. Earlier, the first way I went to make this little flipped classroom discussion lecture type thing, demonstration, the computer basically started smoking on me. Not literally, but in theory. The second time, part of the audio was there, and about after 30 seconds of the video, for the next 17 minutes, you had me, you had the screen, you had my lips moving, no audio. So this is the third shot. Hopefully it's going to go ahead and work. We know it will. But I just want you to let you know that you may be new to it. I'm a veteran of it, but I even have problems too. So do not be afraid of technology. And good luck, and have a great week.